Hello, everyone. Greetings from in Uni, UK. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. My name is Degina Wetherill, and I'm the Director of Recruitment within in Uni UK division, a company of global university systems overseeing international students recruitment for a number of our partner universities. Today, I'm extremely excited to talk about our premium partner university, beautiful Canterbury Christchurch University. And you can see Canterbury Cathedral in my background as well. That's where students' graduations take place. And I'm extremely excited to talk about School of Creative Arts and Industries within CCCU today. I have a bunch of academics, which I'm also excited about here because we always have a great webinar on this school within CCCU. So we have Will Hill, Senior Lecturer in Graphic Design, Miranda Hudson, Senior Lecturer in Photography. We have Alan Meads, Professor of Games Design, Panas Gikas, Senior Lecturer Music, Andy Hurst, Senior Lecturer Theatre and Performance. And as always, we have Richard Werner, Business Development Manager within CCCU. I also have my colleagues from in Uni marketing team in the background. We have Sukanya and Chinks helping us to run this webinar smoothly. Before we start, just a few housekeeping rules. So you're all on mute. If you'd like to ask any questions whatsoever, please feel free to pop them into the Q&A section. So that's Q&A section rather than chat section. And we will take your questions at the very end of the webinar. You may stay a little bit longer today, and I hope you can stay a bit longer because we have great programs to talk about, why you should choose CCCU, why you should choose School of Creative Arts and Industries. And given the number of amazing academics here, we're going to stay probably a little bit more than an hour. So hope you can stay with us till the end, but in case you have to leave, the session is being recorded anyway, and we will share the recording with you afterwards, as well as presentation. So thank you, and the stage is yours. It's over to academics. I really hope everyone enjoys this webinar, find it useful and inspiring as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Degina. Hello, everyone, wherever you are in the world. My name is Professor Alan Meads. I'm Professor of Games Design at Canterbury Christchurch University, and I'm also the Director of the Canterbury Design Institute, which really looks after all of our design courses across the institution from an international lens. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to kick off this presentation, and then I'll pass over to my good colleague, Will Hill, who's sitting immediately next to me through kind of technical marvels. And I'm going to talk to you about games design primarily, and then we'll have other colleagues that will jump in and talk about their subjects as we go. I hope that you can hear me okay, and I'll remind myself that I need to slow down to make sure that you can hear me better. And yeah, let's begin. So yeah, I'm going to start by talking about the School of Creative Arts and Industries, or rather the subject area of creative arts and industries here at Canterbury Christchurch University. Now, earlier on, I asked my good colleague Will Hill to update these slides, and I said I wanted a larger image in the presentation to show my seniority and kind of position, and he did exactly that, as you can see. So yeah, hopefully that'll give you an idea of the way that we work here. So in this section of the presentation, you'll hear from me, so Alan Meads, Professor of Game Design. You'll hear from Will Hill, Course Director and Senior Lecturer in Graphic Design. And you'll also hear from Miranda Hutton, who's Course Director and Senior Lecturer in Photography. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to begin by briefly talking about games design, which is a subject close to my heart and is the subject that I'm a professor of. So yeah, at Canterbury Christchurch University, we run an undergraduate course, BA Hons in game design, and we also run a master's in game design and have a PhD and postgraduate research in game design. Probably an important thing to point out to you, and this tends to be common across the majority of kind of creative subjects here, is that we run either 100% by project or primarily through projects. The idea is that you learn through doing in our school and in our subject area. And so what we care about is you becoming a more confident designer, maker, performer, rather than necessarily becoming a really accomplished essay writer or presentation doer. There we go. Yeah, so I think it's quite important to point out we're a practical school, and we tend to focus on practical work. So on the games design course, we use a range of industry standard pieces of software. These are tools that we will train you how to use and how to deploy in order to make games and all kinds of interactive experiences. That includes Unreal Engine, Blender, Substance Painter, all kinds of different things. And we also design and make work for commercial platforms, so things like itch.io, Steam, and even the PlayStation Store or Kickstarter. This is an example of some of the kind of work that students produce. So the idea is that our students come to us without any requirement of prior experience. We don't require them to have been game designers before. We don't require them to have done anything really apart from having a real passion for the subject and an interest in engaging with creative technology and creative activity. So this is first year work where we have illustrators, we have narrative designers, we have programmers, we have sound designers working together to make games. Then in the second year, this might develop where they're starting to do 3D renders, 3D spaces, animations. And yes, we also support board games within our processes. And then moving into the third year, where they tend to make completed prototypes or completed parts of games. And the important thing here is that despite the complex nature of game design, there are loads of different skills that you have to develop. Despite that, we teach students from scratch. And that tends to be an ethos right across our design disciplines. We don't expect you to come to us with all of the prior knowledge to start with. We expect you to come to us with passion and interest and a willingness to engage with the subject. Because we're the experts, we can get you there and we can help you to make the things that you want to make. Now, there are many students that we've helped along the way. Here we have a selection of students that have moved through the games design course and have taken a range of different roles. That includes game producers, game journalists, QA lead, tech lead, teachers, lead developers, 3D artists, lecturers, UX designer. We have lots and lots of people that have worked their way through this course and found their own different pathways. And yes, most recently, we've had a team of students. These students graduated last year, in June last year, and they were the winners of a UK government fund called Transfuser. In total, they've had about £45,000 worth of funding or in-kind funding from the government. And if you're interested in video games, which I very much hope some of you are, you might want to mosey on down to Steam and have a look at their game that's called Robes and Wrinkles. If you wishlist it, or if you download the demo, you can get a really clear sense of the kind of things we make here at Canterbury Christ Church University and on the Games Design undergraduate course. Now, let me ask you a question. Will, are there any doors in your game?
Any doors in my game?
Any doors in your game?
You'll have to elaborate.
Excellent.
Alan. What do we mean by this?
So something that you'll learn about the way that we work at Canterbury Christ Church University is we like to challenge students. We want to get them thinking. We want to get them thinking on their feet and thinking creatively. We also think about presentations and webinars in a creative way. But this is a really important question. Are there doors in your game? The reason I pose this question, Will, is because lots of people are confused about what game design actually is, because it's a massive subject. You have programmers, you have artists, you have level designers, you have narrative designers. And the way that we reassure people that are interested in the subject that they have a place in the industry is we talk about doors. Because actually, and here's a pun, we want to open the doors to industry. We want to help you to get into industry. So yeah, this was supposed to be an animated GIF. So this door now looks slightly different. Imagine this door was opening and a zombie from Resident Evil was coming, shuffling through over and over again every 5 seconds. We have animators and programmers. And the animators and programmers, when it comes to doors in games, are the ones that make the door open and close, and they might animate how the characters interact with those doors. We also support level designers, and level designers decide exactly where the door is, how big the door is, and where its keys might be hidden. So the idea is that a level designer cares deeply about doors. We have artists. Artists really care about the way that that door looks. So they make the doors look good and feel like they're part of the game world. And narrative designers can tell the player about the door and ensure that it fits within the larger logic and story of the game world itself. So yeah, by thinking about doors, you can get a sense of the kind of variety of roles in there. There'll be other roles as well. Sound designers that figure out how that door will sound when it's slammed or opened. Is it creaky? All kinds of different kind of roles that contribute to the delivery of doors in video games. So that was why I asked you if there were doors in your game. Are there doors in your game? Person in the webinar. That's what you've got to think about. Think about the kind of designer you might want to be, and then think about how we can help you along the way. Now, other things that we do to help our students on the way are illustrated by our commitment to careers and enterprise and employment. Now, we do that in loads of different ways, but probably the most important way right now will be to say that in 4 days' time, we've got 27 students from game design heading off to A-Maze Berlin, which is one of the most renowned international games expos and conferences. And that was funded and supported by the university's Careers and Enterprise program. The idea is we help you to connect with industry. We teach you the skills that you need, and then we might help you to travel to a different country and show off your games. We also do things like game jams and hackathons. The idea is that in addition to learning your subject, you're applying those skills creatively and within an industry context. And we also get our students to, instead of just stay at home programming and drawing and writing and recording, they have to get out and show their games to people, real life people, in expos, in trade events. And that includes talking to industry, talking to publishers, and making that connection that will help you along your way into a creative career. Now, something else that we do, and I know that lots of subjects do this, is that we bring industry practitioners into the university to talk to us. Now, most recently, we've had 2 colleagues from Jagex. We've had 2 colleagues from Glowmade who are just about to release King of Meat. Again, if you're a fan of video games, which I hope you are, you should check out King of Meat. Of those 2 colleagues, one of them was a former student who's now a level designer. In fact, he's now a senior level designer there. But the idea is that we have industry come in and present to our students as we go. Most recently, we've had Dan Pinchbeck, who you may well know by being the chap who co-founded the Chinese Room and who wrote this game here, Still Wakes the Deep. So yeah, we work quite closely with Dan, and so Dan came in and I forgot to get him to sign my copy of the game, which was a complete failure to do. Okay, so what we really want students to do, we want to open the doors to you. We want to teach you the skills that you need, open the doors towards you joining industry, and ideally get you to start an indie studio, whether or not that studio is here in England or somewhere else in the world where you come from. Last thing to say, on our undergraduate course at the moment, we also give our students a high-spec gaming laptop in order to do their studies. So the idea is that our students can remotely work and produce the work that they need to whenever they want to. And that is the end of me. Over to Will.
I'm going to slide
Should we
over,
swap?
kick you out of the way. So it's going to say Alan Meads on the thing, but
Well,
I
we
promise
look the
you,
same anyway,
it's the
so-
beard and hair. But apart from that, I think I've got a slightly squeakier voice. So graphic design. The artwork that you can see straight away is actually designed by one of our current year 3 students, and it just gives you a bit of a flavour of some of the stuff that our students actually come up with. But I'll do a quick introduction of me. So I'm what I would call a creative flibbity gibbet, which basically means I like to do all sorts of things. When I left university, I started working for a design agency called Storm Studios, who specialized in album covers. So the first album you can see there is Pink Floyd, if there's any music lovers. And then I worked with those on a series of albums for a few years. And the one with the burning map, in fact, had me on the album cover. So I ended up doing some modeling. And I make comics with colleagues and all sorts of other things, music videos, and obviously genuine kind of like logos, like, you know, the graphic design stuff you would sort of take for granted. Our team on graphics is made up of some amazing practitioners, and I'm really sort of proud to work with them. So I sort of do, I'm the course director and I do all sorts of different things. We then have a colleague called Rachel Hancock, who specializes in logos, advertisements, messages to people. And she's worked with some really high profile clients such as Disney and Hilton Hotels, and is sort of recognized globally. Tony Lyons is a industry pro. So he has been in the industry for 40 plus years, and he has won World Book Designer of the Year multiple occasions. His knowledge of the industry is incredible, and there's sort of no one that he hasn't met and doesn't know. The Tequila Sunset one, he won World Book Designer for that, but he's also does album covers. So again, if anyone's interested in music, he's just done the Bastille Ampersand album cover, and all of the artwork that was made for that was actually made in the studios upstairs. Rob Flowers. Now, I love the idea that Rob Flowers would have sat at the back of a classroom and would have been told off for doodling and coming up with silly characters. And now that's his job. So, you know, that idea of the possible, you know, someone at some stage made up SpongeBob SquarePants and now is worth, 120 million. And Rob's characters, all with these sort of googly eyes, are seen all across social media, across TV. So the Mini Cheddars one is sort of big at the moment and can be seen everywhere. But he'll be doing work for sort of the New York Times, the Sunday Times, Diesel, and his characters can be seen on everything. We've got a chap called Tom Burgess, who specializes in horror, but he teaches sort of an array of skills from motion graphics, AR, VR, and what I love about Tom is he gets our students to realize if you've got a passion or a hobby, you could turn that into any industry thanks to graphic design. So, you know, specializing in horror is needed in all these different, you know, ways. He's made games, he's made comics, graphic novels. And next year, he'll have a movie coming out with Paramount that he's the screenwriter for. So really exciting stuff. And again, it shows the diversity and the skill set that we're teaching across graphics. We also bring in a multitude of guest speakers. So we've had what was recognized in New York as the best up-and-coming designer in Will Mower for his print collection, all the way to industry pros such as John Gray and Jamie Keenan, who are the art directors for Publishing House and Penguin. We'll also bring in specialists from sort of executives from Netflix, agency specialists like Geo Media, and we're constantly getting real life briefs from clients. So Universal Music have recently set a brief that our students worked on. We exclusively work with a local design agency called Finally. What we do with them is we take our students to their design studios so that our students learn how a design studio works, how an agency works, and they get to spend some time there. So all of our teaching is not just sort of book smart. It's, again, that learning by doing and seeing the real mechanics so that when you start to, leave university, you're prepared and ready for how to actually work in the industry. And this is what I'm getting at, and when I'm sort of showing you how the breadth and depth of what our lecturers, their skill sets are, because graphic design is an enormous subject. So we make sure that in year one, everyone gets a taste of all these different areas, and then you can really tailor your experience and make sure that if you've loved publishing or if you've loved UX design, that our briefs and our sort of options can make you, pursue that career. And we're here as the specialists to sort of guide and navigate you through that. Everything we do is, in terms of our teaching, is based on reality. Again, all of the lecturers have worked in studios, ran agencies. So everything we do is based on the way that a real agency and a real client designer relationship would work. Currently, the stats on the course are incredible. So we are actually second in the UK for the quality of our teaching in the area of art and design. So out of every university in the country, you know, would be nice to be first, but I'll take second. And 100% of our students, after sort of a survey, but they give students an opportunity to go out and find work, but within 15 months are doing, paid, high-skilled graduate level employment, which is excellent. And again, that's not sort of the norm. After people have finished their university degrees, they take part in something called the National Student Survey, the NSS. So they're not, they could say whatever they like about the course. They're free to complete this survey without any kind of biasness. The national averages for student enjoyment, what if they've gotten out of the course what they expected to, is often in the 60s and 70s. I'm delighted to say that for graphic design, ours are in the high 90s or in the 100%. So we're obviously doing something right. So what are we doing? Year one is all about setting you up for success. What I want students to do is to enjoy the course and to be able to turn around to friends and family and go, oh, I love it here. This is exactly what I was, meant to do. This course, this institution feels like home. So we set everyone up with that kind of foundational knowledge that you need. And here's some of the work that students might get up to in year one. Again, might be movie posters, it might be pitching to clients, it might even be comics, but allowing that breadth of enjoyment and, while still learning the skill sets that you need. Year two, we allow students to select certain modules. So it might be something to do with sustainability, and you're bringing your knowledge of sort of design for good and how you can help the environment to that conversation. You'll be coming up with campaigns, so looking at social media, posters, leaflets, and how they all work together to form a comprehensive message. Again, you'll start working with Finally to work out how studios work. And then we'll also have some more real life client briefs, so you can sort of test your pitching and presentation skills. Here's some of the work that our year twos typically sort of get up to. So from packaging design, campaign posters, presenting to clients, AR apps, a whole range of different things. Year three is all about sort of setting you up that that you are ready for work. You might want to start thinking about actually how would you run your own business. You might start having those entrepreneurial ideas. We've got something like leading the studio, where you're thinking about becoming an art director, a creative director, and getting that kind of business acumen. Exploratory studio, there may be something, because design is such an enormous subject, that you've not tested out. You might have really wanted to do more in the print studio and become a silk screen specialist. Or you might want to start exploring design and games or photography. So let's give students an opportunity to explore something there. Ready for a career in graphic design, getting your CV ready, helping you make sure that you find the job that you need. And then the Creative Arts and Industries project, all of our creative subjects across the university will be doing this project at the same time. So if you feel like you want to collaborate with someone, hypothetically a music video, and making a band could make some music, you could make the artwork for them, and someone in film could make the music videos, and you could all collaborate. So really exciting opportunities there. Again, here's some of the work that our students might get up to by the time that they're in year three. So from making sort of coffee shops, you've got a street ched, which was a cheese toasted sandwich on the go. You've got redesigning rugby clubs. And here's some of our sort of students' work that I'll just go through quickly. So Tom, after university, he only left a year ago, has now set up a business, and he's traveling the globe, mostly based in Abu Dhabi at the moment, but he is a sports specialist, and this is just 1 year after leaving. Gemma Cannon, if you see a poster moving, it's probably from Gemma, who works for an agency called T, but all kind of motion graphics, so After Effects heavily. But yeah, if you see a poster moving out in the wild, it's probably Gemma. Tassos is really into this kind of 3D, edgy, grungy kind of like looks, but he's done packaging, web design. A lot of musicians in sort of Eastern Europe are hiring Tassos to go and do these incredible visual displays behind bands and DJs. And Bex recently left and is now working for DC and Marvel, making comics and graphic novels. So you can see that real breadth of different skill sets that our students are getting from this course, you know, from comics to motion graphics. Fab. And the thing that's sort of my lasting point with that is that we believe in our students. We believe that they have hobbies, interests, and passions. And what we really want is for them to know that they're in a safe space where they can explore that. And we're just here to make them become the best designer that they can be. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Miranda Hutton. I'm course director of photography, and I'm going to spend just a few minutes telling you about the wonders of photography at Canterbury Christchurch University. So all of the slides are illustrated by student work, so it gives you a good sense of the variety of work that is produced by our fantastic photography students. I'm just going to put my thumbs up because Will and Alan have got my control of my slides. Various reasons why you should study photography. It's a discipline that can be applied to many, many different kind of career paths. And our course, as you will see, supports quite a lot, all of the career paths, in fact, for photography. We were voted on our NSS that all of our students allowed a freedom of expression, which is I'm particularly proud of because it kind of supports this idea of us supporting a range of photographic careers. And just like Alan and Will have kind of said, there's no need to come with, you know, really expensive camera equipment. You know, we do expect a passion for photography, but, you know, we have a huge range of equipment. So you can start from scratch in that sense, and you can use all of our really kind of wide range of cameras, from very extremely high-end, expensive mirrorless medium formats to more analog equipment, so that you develop your own way of using cameras. So when you leave the course, you have a kind of a really wide skill set on cameras and exposure settings. Next slide, please. This is just an array of the different types of photographs, photographic projects that the students have produced, from kind of street photography to activism, sort of more staged interiors, and also kind of color documentary style photography, where people are going out, photographers are going out on the street, talking to people, almost kind of like becoming anthropologists in a way, photojournalists as well, and reporting on the stories that they find out there in the world. Next slide, please. So we have a range of really talented photographers, researchers that teach on the course. So I'm Miranda Hutton, as you can see. My work has evolved from working commercially with the BBC and Sunday Telegraph magazine, where I was photographing portraits and then interiors. Now I'm working more in the studio, and I'm exploring projects which develop ideas around conversations, encourage conversations around loss and bereavement. Rob Ball has got work that has been exhibited in major institutions in London, like the Photographers Gallery, the Victoria and Albert Museum. He's published lots of books and had lots of exhibitions. His work is using alternative processes, but he really focuses on exploring the coastal seaside towns of the UK, but also outside internationally as well. Melanie King is a specialist in sustainability and photography, and her work is very much geared towards analog photography. So that's darkroom and exploring, more kind of traditional senses of photographic practice. And Carl Bigmore is a fantastic documentary color photographer. He travels to America. He's currently working on a book and an exhibition exploring conversations around whales, as in the animal whales, not the country whales. Next slide, please. We also have lots of industry experts coming in. These two joined us this year. John Hooper is a studio specialist, so works commercially in the industry and brings knowledge about particular kind of lighting setups that he uses for fashion shoots and more kind of specialist lighting setups as well. And Johnny Goddard is our moving image specialist. He works as a music video maker. So, we have kind of people that work generally more in industry, and they come to our course to offer just more kind of up-to-date industry insights. Next slide. So the learning opportunities, given our network of staff, we are very well in connection with successful photographers who we invite on a regular basis to talk to our students. A lot of photographers are successful, but their career path is not one same way. And that's the beauty of having kind of photographers who have kind of made it, in the sense of they are commissioned regularly, they have exhibitions regularly, and they can share their experience with our students. One of the successful ones was inviting Jamel GS. He was online because he's based in America, in New York. As you can see, he's photographed Drake, but he's also been really important photographer in raising kind of profiles of 90s hip hop scene, like Biggie Small, Tupac, both East and West Side artists, Mary J. Blige. So it was really interesting having him talk to us about all the different personalities of people that he had spoken to. Next slide, please. Like Will and Alan, the NSS gave us lots of positive feedback from the students. We had 96% in organisation and management, and like I've already said, 100% freedom of expression. Next slide, please. I will go over this really quickly. So the modules in year 1 are about establishing people's skill sets as a photographer, being introduced to the Adobe suite, Photoshop, Lightroom, Premiere Pro, making sure everyone is up to speed with the exposure settings and how they want to capture images for themselves. So that's being a photographer. Image creation and reading images is beginning to engage students with more of a critical analytical reading of images. So you're beginning to question what's in front of you, what's what are the politics that are behind the images that are being presented to you, given that we are flooded by images on a daily basis. Next slide, please. So this is some of the year 2 work. So we had a year 1 student going to Crystal Palace Football Club, which is in South London, which is, a place where I really like because I live there. And she found a female footballer and followed her story, which was about kind of belonging and identity within photography. In the middle section there, we have a studio set up where students were learning how to use different lens lengths, different depths of field, sort of technical stuff. And then lower bottom is actually some fun kind of film soups that the students use. So they had old analog films and they put in chemicals, they left them for a couple of days, let them dry, and then processed them. And you can see the colors are quite dramatic and they're sort of warpy, strange marks. So it's quite experimental. Next slide, please. So we have interdisciplinary modules across the School of Creative Arts. This year 2 is about kind of expanding your skills, developing your own kind of creative style, and also keeping an eye on industry and careers as well. Can I just show, next slide, I'll just show you the year 2 work. So as part of year 2 kind of student experience. And the beauty of Canterbury as a location is that we can access the seaside and the creative locations in Margate and Folkestone, but we're also just an hour away, less than, if we get the fast train to London. And in London, we can visit the students. We always go and visit the Photographers Gallery, the museums, to see work being exhibited at the sort of most kind of valuable end in terms of display. But then these photographs here are showing us visiting print space, more kind of industry places where, you know, photographers would be using to get prints made, and the variety of applications you can use to create beautiful prints for clients. Down in the bottom is Hannah, and she was really interested in working with the NHS. So as part of the year 2, we have a collaboration theme, and this year we did this project called The Art of the Possible, where we invited the Deputy Mayor from Kent. So Kent is the area where Canterbury is situated in. And we also invited Kent Police, which was hilarious because we had suddenly all these police officers coming to our studios, and everyone was slightly worried what was going on. So we had this amazing kind of collaboration with NHS partnerships. And Hannah, who'd partnered with the NHS collaboration last year, has now gone on to become a clinical photographer for the NHS, and that's a career path that wouldn't have been sort of very obvious unless she had been exposed to some of these collaborations in year 2. So she's, you know, having a great time. She's now in Birmingham, different part of the country, but learning all these incredible skills as a clinical photographer. Next slide, please. And then year 3 modules are really very much about getting you know, to think about your future photographic career. So impactful photography is making sure that you are really thinking about your audience and your ethics around, you know, where your photography is going to be positioned. And you're working towards big projects, which will be fantastic for your portfolio. Next slide, please. So at the moment, we are installing our year 3 show, and that's the top photograph there. That's in our gallery in our Creative Arts building. And that exhibition will be also relocated a month's time to Free Range, which is in the centre of London, which showcases lots of different graduate shows, creative arts courses, and that's in Brick Lane, which is the centre of London. So our students will have their work displayed in Canterbury, but also in London. And that's incredibly important for your photographic careers in terms of celebrating your work and getting the public to engage with it. And the lower images are the sort of preparation that's gone in, guest lectures. That's Eva Vermandel, very successful photographer there, giving a talk to our youth students. And then the other photograph is showing how we all prepare to get these sort of finest images on display. Next slide, please. So here's some of our current year 3 student work. So we've got some sort of fashion work. We've got some event work. Next slide, please. We've got a photographer that was really interested in interior spaces, and this work is now being displayed in the NHS corridors in various hospitals. And we have another project by Sally Smoker, which was much more personal. She lost her grandmother whilst studying on the course, and she was making work about memory and loss. Next slide, please. So employability, we have lots of different, you know, I've already mentioned Hannah, who's gone on to become a clinical photographer. We have Naomi Baker, who definitely deserves her own slide, actually. She's a photojournalist. She travels around the world photographing the Olympics, various football tournaments. She's incredibly successful. Cheney Marsh, who works in a charity, delivering short courses to young people in the charity Positive View. And we have Katie, who became the resident events photographer at Dreamland Margate. So a real range of career paths. Next slide, please. So I've touched on all of the variety of career paths that photography can give you. So it's, working commercially, editorial, you can become a visual artist, a gallery, curator, art buyer. And then there's the digital side of picture editing, retouching, becoming an archivist. and then teaching and photojournalism as well. I think that's my last slide. Any questions? Thank you very much for listening.
Amazing. Thank you, Miranda. I think we are moving on to the next presenter, right? And then we'll take questions at the very end, if that's okay. Panos, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Please tell me if this is sharing correctly. Just making sure this is the right one. Make this into presentation. Can you hear me? Can you see this?
We can hear you, we can see you, and we can see your screen as well. Thank you.
Very good. So my name is Panos Gikas. I'm senior lecturer in music, and I will talk about 2 undergraduate music-based courses in Canterbury, Christchurch. So we're talking about the BA in popular music and the BA in music production. Before I go into any details about the course itself, I'd like to show a short video which has some of our students talking about their experience in the course.
Oh, the facilities are amazing. Yeah, really happy with them. Every time I walk into a studio space or one of the rehearsal rooms, it's just such high grade gear, and to have the opportunity to work with it is, you know, a privilege.
You learn so much and so much support around you. It's like, you never really feel alone, really. I would definitely recommend this course. I mean, I absolutely love this course. The teachers are incredible. The facilities are just amazing. In such a short space of time, I'm at a level where I feel comfortable I could go into the industry and not feel afraid of what I love to do.
I'm going to talk about these 2 courses, the popular music and the music production course, and just wanted to show you this slide, this video, which has 2 of our students who talk about their experience, which made them feel very comfortable about exploring their what they wanted to do, their dreams in working in music and being musicians. And like all my other colleagues, I wanted to make it clear that this is a course that doesn't assume that you know everything, or even you know the things that we are supposed to be teaching, or that you have a prior knowledge in specific areas. So we go into various subjects, and we expect that people will make big steps in the beginning, but we start from a basic level where we make sure that everyone is on the same page and gets interested and excited about using all the software and the gear and the equipment that helps you make great music. So first of all, I'll talk about popular music, which has a very interesting advantage because it offers performance one-to-one tuition, which is a rare thing for a performance-oriented course. So this is a performance-oriented course, and you get, if you go into this course as an instrumentalist or vocalist, you get one-to-one tuition, which is weekly, with one of our instrumental specialists, and these people are professionals who perform worldwide, have experience in recording in the studio, international experience, and have performed in many stages. You can also do this tuition not in one instrument, but break it down in 2 instruments if you are a multi-instrumentalist, and that carries through all 3 years. So you do get a specific, focused one-to-one support in learning in your own instrument. Along with that, there are modules which support group performance, and that is a sort of line of modules which support not just the instrumental learning, but also the interaction, which is extremely important when you're performing in a group. This is further supported by staff-run ensembles, and these ensembles are focusing on specific types of performance or bands or albums. So it could be that you have a Prince band, or you have a Wolfbeck band, or other types of styles like prog rock band, or something Motown soul, and they focus on specific styles and developing these across the whole or both semesters, and then doing performances. Along with that, music performers who do popular music learn how to perform in different areas. Now, the stage is the most obvious one. And of course, there are different stages. There are small stages, much bigger ones, performing with larger ensembles, performing with much bigger audiences. So you learn how to handle the experience of that. But along with this, people are shown how to perform for these new and emerging ways of learning, how to create liveness, how to perform, which is performing in front of a screen, performing with different kinds of media installations and performances. And of course, one of the most challenging aspects of learning to perform is in the recording studio. So there are modules which focus on learning how to go in a studio as a performer and deliver the best performance possible, which is a very, very high pressured environment, the studio environment. There are other subjects which are shared with music production, but for now, what I will do is I will just talk about the music production module. And just wondering if there's a shade. Let me just close this here. It doesn't interfere with the image. Just give me one sec. So the music production focuses on two areas: studio skills and production skills. The studio skills focus on what you do in a studio. So we have really high-end studios. This is an example, a photo on the right of a mastering studio that we have, where you learn how to record from scratch, learn how to use all the techniques, knowledge of microphones, knowledge of positioning, know how to handle your performers. And then we learn post-production, which is mixing and mastering. And we have use of the audio consoles, which are sort of favorite go-to hardware mixing desks, one that you can see down here. And we learn how to produce in the studio and make music, which is comparable to what is broadcast, what is played on the radio, what you can download. Along with that, we learn how to work in the computer. So we learn production skills. We have got lots of software that we provide. No one has to buy any laptops. No one has to buy any software. We have iMac suites, more than 100 computers available to access. We've got Logic, Ableton, Pro Tools, all the Pro Suites in effects, which are available for all the producers in professional studios to produce the final result, which has to be broadcast ready. Along with all this, we provide learning modules which focus on the new areas, emerging areas, which are how to use AI in music, how to use interactive audio, and of course, a really strong area, which is game design music. And that it focuses basically on how to compose for games and other interactive media. We are very happy that we are able to collaborate with other people from other courses, including games design. And we have students currently now collaborating with people from games design and film. So the final thing is that all this requires knowledge of sound design. So we've got modules called creative sound design and different types of understanding synthesizers and sound behavior and samplers. And of course, one final module is live sound, where producers are taught how to build a gig from scratch, how to set up, how to make your concert sound good, how to make musicians sound good, and how to record that and to document that. Now, both courses share, let me just see here, these areas of learning, which are very, very important. So both courses learn how to compose. They learn how to do songwriting and how to compose for different types of media, corporate media, independent, and obviously compose film music. We have film music suites, sample suites, which allow you to sound like anything, like the composer Hans Zimmer from Dune, or like the composer that makes music for Wes Anderson's films, or like anything which is much more individual, specialized, or avant-garde. We have a module which focuses on working in music, which is about learning how to become an entrepreneurial musician. And we bring many people from outside who are working, successful musicians, and some of our alumni. And we look at how music impacts in terms of its meaning in society, the ethics of music, the politics, and of course, major projects are shared also area, and that is essentially a practical dissertation. It means that you either set a whole performance, you set a whole recording, you can make a whole gaming audio suite, you can make a sample library, you can make albums. People in the major projects make the best music they had ever made so far, and they get all the support from very specialized teams. Moving forward, I'm just going to, since I've talked about these areas, I don't want to go into too much detail. I want to show you that in popular music, there are two strands. One strand, the top strand here, you can see the word performance is all the way through, which means that this is a very much performance-oriented course, and it supports different areas, going up to level 6, where it becomes a lot more demanding and specialized. So in the end, you have an individual performance project where you actually prepare a concert by yourself, where you perform things which showcase your talent and your learning to almost professional level here. You also learn how to record in the studio, and you improvise. And the lower area here is something of a more shared area, which combines things like the interdisciplinary modules, the business-oriented module, and everything that relates to composing. So you've got songwriting and composition, and composing for industry briefs, and of course the creative arts and industries project, which of course is what I discussed before. Make your project, collaborate, make the best thing you can to showcase who you are after 3 years of learning. Now, similarly in music production, we have an upper strand here, which focuses on recording and production. So we've got studio recording, creative production, live sound, creative sound design, and professional production skills and industry portfolio. At these points here, you go from learning how to set up a basic microphone setup for recording drums or making a demo recording. At the level 3 here, you will be demonstrating knowledge of producing something which should be indistinguishable from other things that you hear or on the radio and broadcast in streaming. It will be your final projects, which will be the strongest demonstration of how well you can produce and compose music. Music production focuses a lot in production, but also on composing and making your work as individual as possible. The lower strand is pretty similar to the popular music course, which essentially focuses on composition and careers and interdisciplinary modules, where we encourage people to collaborate with all the other amazing creative arts subjects that we've just been presented and will be continuing presented after this. I just want to stay here and just clarify that whatever we do focuses on us being completely agnostic in terms of the style that we teach. So we don't teach one particular style. The style that we teach is the style that the students want to work on. So our responsibility is to make you explore the style that you want to work in, and then to allow you to understand how all the other styles that might exist and might help you sort of diversify, explore further, and maybe change how you develop into this. So our attitude to this is that you are free to choose any style, but you are encouraged to change and develop. So I'm just going to play you an extract from a lovely band called Delicia, this is a collaboration between a band which comprises of performers and producers who recorded and made this single that was actually then played on BBC Music Introducing, with whom we have a close relationship. And every year we get the BBC Music Kent coming to our university to either pick up songs or come and record. And this is a really important relationship because it puts students on the frame of mind of making something that will be broadcast. I'll play you a quick extract of this song.
Ready? Go for it, mate. you think it'd go this way? Spending weekends at my place, or you play me like a game? Only met when it got dark, hiding out in the back of your car. Didn't think it'd go this far. Oh, you know just what to say. Say you love me to make me stay. How we almost had it all. There you go, we'll wreck it all. Oh, you know just what to say. Say you love me to make me stay. How we almost had it all. There you go, we'll wreck it all.
Cool. So we are very, very happy with this band. They wrote a great song. They played it amazingly, and they also produced it and recorded it really, really well. So we are very happy. They're touring, they're playing now, and people know the band. They're always going to watch it. And this was a spontaneous collaboration. So just quickly, I want to show you some of the things that our music graduates have gone on to work in, and there's a lot of areas. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but of course, beyond being just a composer, an arranger, and a producer, or a performer, there are so many things that either relate to teaching. There can be also, you're going to become an academic, but there's even people who have gone to become web designers, video editors, instrumental tutors, and there's so much content that people require in terms of music. Music is needed because there's so much so much material produced, whether it's films, media, even graphic designers need music, games designers need music. So everyone needs music, and they need sound, and they need sound design. But actually, the truth is that everyone needs music because music is good for you, and making music is really good for you. So that's why I tell my students, you're here, you're really lucky because you're studying and you're doing music, which is good for you, and you're making music, which is good for other people. So it's a very beneficial and very fun thing to do. So there's a lot of demand, and you can diversify it in so many different areas. Just moving forward, we do have a recent survey, not from last year, which is for popular music, which is for commercial music, which is the previous course. And we do have very high scores in lots of areas. And of course, a lot of the things that they value is about the way we explain things. And that's because we feel very passionate about the fact that you are not expected just suddenly walk in and know things. So we make sure we explain everything from many different angles. And at the same time, we have a lot of experience because we are all not just lecturers, but we also practicing musicians. So moving forward, I will talk about a little bit about us, but here's what people go on to do after they finish. just few of our graduates who have done so well, and we make sure we keep in touch and they come and talk to our students in the working in music modules. And yes, we really want our students to feel that they can achieve all this. Moving forward now, we have every one of us is a musician. I want to talk about one of our colleagues, Robert Stillman, who actually spent a long time touring with members of Radiohead, the band Smile. He was in the US, he was worldwide touring and playing in amazing shows such as the Jimmy Fallon Show. And we're very proud of this. And he's bringing into his teaching a lot of things that he's learned from this kind of experience. And we all do from our different international experiences, whether it's with corporate media in film, touring and releases, running record labels, so many different areas. We have to our disposal lots of spaces where we can perform. I'm just going to show you this photo quickly. This is only just a few areas that you can perform in university, but you can also perform outside in Canterbury, lovely spaces that students organize performances. And talking about the students, they are very, very active. We have a lot of events going on. We have an Instagram. You can follow this handle. You can also actually, where's the there's the you can scan this, and we've got events all the time being recorded. Our students have been amazing at organizing different open mic events. We had a lovely show 2 weeks ago at the Ramsgate Music Hall, which is a local venue that was recorded. And these are all things that are run by our own students who love the experience. And this is it. Move forward now. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Panos. Amazing presentation. All I can say, felt like being in a live concert. Really enjoyed it. All right, perfect. Are we moving on to Andy?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm ready to go. I'm just going to set up my share. So just bear with me 1 second. And I should be there. Hopefully, if you could let me know, Dagina, if you can see everything there.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, if you can maybe just enlarge it. Yeah, just so that it's a slideshow.
Yeah, I've just done that. That should be, are you seeing that now?
Not the same way as it was earlier.
Okay.
So it's got like 2 screens for some reason.
Let me try again. Bear with. Is that working now?
No, we can't see your screen.
Andy, I think you need to reshare your yeah. Now it's full
Is that
screen.
working now?
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Now it's great. Yeah.
Are we there?
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Apologies about that. Thank you. And hello, everyone. And just a thank you to my colleagues who have just been talking so passionately about their subject areas. My name is Andy Hurst. I'm a senior lecturer in the School of Creative Arts and Industries, and I'm the course director for the Theatre and Performance degree. I think we're getting a kind of thread and a theme that's come through all of the talks here, and I'm going to continue that theme in that our degrees really are focused on employability, and everything that we do within our degree courses has been designed to help you develop the skills that you are going to need to develop a successful and sustainable career within your chosen area, and theatre and performance is no different. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, the course itself is built around 4 main areas. First of all, as you can see on this slide here, performance. Yes, you are going to get performance training. The first half of every year, you will be given acting, singing, and dance training. However, you'll get that each 3 years. But what we want to do is explore different ways that you can start to use those various skills. Previous talks have mentioned the way that you can take your skill set and move them into different areas. So yes, in the first year, we'll talk to you about acting for the stage, singing live, and movement and dance. But in the second year, we want to explore that in slightly different ways. So we might get you to create digital content for social media using your acting skills. We might get you to record a radio play or something like that. For movement, we might get you to do some motion tracking work, potentially, which could then go on to be used within film and games design projects. And for singing, we might get you to record a track in a studio using some of the facilities that Panos has just been talking about as part of the popular music and the music production courses. So yes, we're going to look at performance, but we're going to do it in a variety of ways. Okay. Management is going to be a key area of exploration as well. The theatre and performance degree isn't just about performance. It is about understanding the theatre and live performance industries. We have a fantastic stage management strand within our degree course. Many of our graduates in our current courses have gone on to have fantastic careers as stage management and in live performance management and production. So it's a really great area of the industry to focus on for a sustainable career, as I've mentioned. Production, again, it's not just about being on the stage. Quite a lot of what we do is about being behind and indeed to the sides of the stage. So we will examine things like stage lighting. We will examine areas such as sound design for live performance. But also look at some of the newer areas of production, such as projection mapping that you might be familiar with, and how that can be used to enhance a scene and to enhance the scenographic content of a live show. And the last area that I want to mention here, company, really relates to the second half of the year. So if the first half of the year is about developing skills, the second half of the year is putting those very much into practice as you come together as a performance company. The whole group will come together to create a new piece of live performance work. And it's really within that module and that area that you will start to focus on what you really would like to develop in order to sustain your career in the future. So you might perform, but you might be the stage manager for that performance. You might be a designer. You might be a director. You might be somebody who has engaged in research to help the development of a new piece of live performance. So company is really the culmination, I guess, of the academic and the practical work that you will have done in the degree prior to that particular module. We're really proud to be working together with the Marlow Theatre in Canterbury. The Marlow Theatre is a major commercial theatre in the southeast. In 2022, it won UK Theatre of the Year award, and it's a fantastic example of the variety of performance work and new show development work that is happening within the theatre industry. So in our theatre and performance degree, we will work closely with that theatre, and you will get to benefit from those professionals that work in that area. As you can see on this slide here, a couple of areas that we're going to really drill down into are things like live assignment project briefs. So I've just mentioned this idea of company and coming together to form a theatre company. Well, the Marlow Theatre is going to give you a task to do as part of that module. It will be an industry brief that you will have to meet, and you will have to create a product at the end of that module, at the end of the year, if you like, to present back to the staff at the Marlow Theatre to see how you've done, with potential to having that work viewed to a wider audience. We'll also bring in professionals from the theatre to give you masterclasses and workshops. We can bring in directors, we can bring in performers, we can bring in technicians. At the moment, we have a great relationship with them, and we have our students going in to shadow various elements of the theatre work that happen across the academic year. And of course, they are offering a full program of performances, and you'll be able to take advantage of the discounts that we can offer you through tickets to go and see those shows. So we're really excited about developing the links that we have with the Marlow Theatre there. I'm just going to show you a little bit of film footage to talk a little bit more about the opportunities within the course, and you'll be able to see some footage of some of our students and the performances that have taken place, but you'll also hear from the Chief Executive Officer of the Marlow Theatre as well, talking about our collaboration.
We hope that the new degree gives you a lot of opportunity to develop what it is you are most passionate about when it comes to theatre and performance. Whatever stories you want to tell, whatever aspects of theatre you want to go into, it is very much your creativity that stands at the centre of what we do.
So we have some fantastic performance facilities here at Canterbury Christchurch. We have 5 fully sprung studio spaces that cater for different specialisms. We have a dance studio lab which has bars and mirrors. We have a theatre space that has retractable seating that turns into the most amazing big theatre rehearsal space. And we also have spaces where we can use multimedia, and we also have St Gregory's, which has the most beautiful ambience. It's an old church created into a performance space.
In class, you will work together as a company and create performances with different focus throughout the 3 years you are here. Might be that you produce parts of a play or even a full play or a musical. You might create your own show, or you might even work with film and acting and performing on the screen. Students take on all parts of the production, so you will have the chance both to work on stage but also off stage. With the production side of things, you will have to plan the whole performance yourself and put it into life. Of course, supervised by us lecturers, but we are very much interested in developing your creativity and your ideas.
Hopefully when you leave here in 3 years' time, you will have all the attributes that you need to be able to leave, to go on in the industry, whether that is a performer or perhaps directing, or perhaps you're branching out into writing and playwriting actually is what appeals to you. But having all those skill sets available to you, working with people who are in the industry and who have a passion and a love for passing that on.
What we want to do with this degree is offer young people authentic insights into all of those different things that go into making theatre, so that they'll be really well equipped, both with an academic background, education from the university, and also from work experience, from shadowing, from inspiration of successful contemporary theatre makers at the top of their game.
You will develop your performance skills, your acting, your singing and your dancing, but you'll also explore really important roles such as stage management, marketing, producing, devising, programming. How do you market yourself as an individual and not just the product that you are trying to communicate to an audience? We'll explore all of these things on our new theatre and performance degree.
Okay, so it gives you a little bit of a flavour of the range of things that are going to be on offer as part of the degree course. But this slide here focuses on the successes of some of our recent graduates. And again, what I think this does is speak to the range of opportunities that are open to you. It's probably fair to say that the majority of students that come onto the course in their first year, their aim is to perform. They want to be performers. Our aim is to support that aspiration, absolutely, but then to also explore what other opportunities are open to you as you go through the 3 years. And the list that we've got here, I think, does exactly that. Yes, we have performers. The first performer that we've got on here, David, who is currently performing in Moulin Rouge on the West End. His wife, if we go down that list, third from bottom, Lauren, is also performing in Hadestown on the West End. So performers, yes, absolutely. We would also encourage our graduates to go on and further performance training, engage in further performance training, potentially in master's degrees as well. But it's not just performance, of course. Look at the next one, company manager. I've never been on a cruise. Some of you may have been, but these kind of floating hotels have one, maybe more theatres built on them, and all of them need performers, and they all need crew, and they all need managers. And we've done really well over the past number of years providing people to go and work on the cruise ships and engage within those different areas of live performance. Teaching, again, we have a lot of people who want to come in and do a degree and then train to become a teacher, which is perfectly fine, and it's a really good way to get into teaching. Do your undergraduate degree first, and then perhaps do something like a postgraduate in certificate education if you want to get into teaching schools and colleges. Choreographers, actors, we've got a stage technician here. I've got another little bit of video to show you in a second that tells the story of one of our stage technicians that we have got working on the West End. I've mentioned Lily here, who is currently working on The Lion King. George, who I'm going to play you a little bit of video for in a minute, is working with Lily on The Lion King, currently on the West End, so you'll get a bit of an idea about their backstage roles. Some of our graduates have founded their own companies. So we've got Millie here, the founder of Tessellation Dance, and also just above there, the choreographer performer Michaela, artistic director of the Michaela Sizorakova Dance Company. We were really proud to have one of our graduates, Anna, who was featured in last year's Sky production of A Town Called Malice. And then again, we have students who want to go on and further their education, accessing training at MA level, PGCE to train to become a teacher, and even to do PhD and further research work. So a real range that I want you to be aware of. It's not just about performance. There are so many other areas that are open up to you as well. And you don't need to stay within theatre and performance. All of the other degrees that you've heard about today have elements of cross-pollination here. You know, we haven't talked about film production, but of course actors are going to be working in TV, film, and radio. Movement, then motion capture for film as well is an area that we will explore within the new degree course, but also motion capture for things like games design. So there's a whole range of things that you can work on. You're not just kind of limited to one particular area. I'd just like to briefly talk about our performance and production spaces. They were mentioned in that last little bit of video. You can see some images here. The one on the top right is our Anselm Studio Theatre space. And this is we're really lucky to have this space. It's an 85-seater studio theatre. It's really under the sole use of our theatre production courses and our performance students. And it's very much home to those students. Students can book out all of these spaces when they're not being used for teaching or workshops. So for rehearsals and production work that needs to happen, work can be done in the evenings, can be done in the weekends, and it can be just booked out for rehearsal and practice in general as well. We have some fantastic equipment. It mirrors the equipment that you will find in studio theatres across the land, and I'm sure nationally and internationally. So it's great that we can train you to use this equipment that's going to develop your skill set. That's going to be so important when you graduate and you move into the industry. So finally, I just want to just briefly play you this little bit of video here. George graduated from CCCU a couple of years ago. As I mentioned, he's working currently on The Lion King in the West End.
My name's George Effgrave. I'm a graduate of Canterbury Christchurch University, and I'm now a swing for the stage crew at The Lion King. Working on the West End is a magnitude of theatre I never thought I'd be able to achieve, and Canterbury Christchurch gave me that opportunity to study hard, learn what I needed to learn, and apply it to the real world in the West End. The main highlight for the course at Christchurch was the end-of-year musicals. It gave me a sense of sort of the runnings of a professional musical on a more semi-professional level. In terms of practical opportunities I received, we were given the opportunity to work outside of just the studio theatre. such as the Marlow Theatre in their studio theatre, in which we helped set up and run an entirely new production, and we were all given our own professional roles, and that was an eye-opening experience because we all sort of discovered things about what sort of career path we'd like to go into and the sort of job roles that we enjoy. If I was to pass on one piece of advice for prospective students, it would be to listen to staff members and utilise the facilities around you. I felt very supported by the staff at the university. They all have industry standard practice. They're very patient with all of us. They've also helped us to gain people skills in terms of talking to directors, producers, writers, those sorts of people. The studio theatre at Anselm is a smaller scale of a professional working theatre. When you want to learn a new skill, it's there available for you, and the staff are always there to help you out and assist you if need be. All of the research has been done. You just need to look in the right places and ask the right people, and you can learn all of the skills you need to learn and apply it to the real world.
So there we go. So if you're at all interested in any aspect of theatre and performance, then we'd love to see you here and we'd love to work with you to help you develop your aspirations. Thanks very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Andy. Really inspiring presentation. Thank you to all academics. I'm sure our attendees found it very, very inspiring. Well, I have. I've learned a lot myself. I now want to be a student, if I could, at CCCU, School of Creative Arts and Industries. Just a reminder to everyone that we still accept applications for September 2025 intake. You can submit them via GAS Gateway if you are our partner. If you're a student, please reach out to your education advisor. If you're applying by an agency, perhaps arrange any outstanding documents you haven't submitted, and also, most importantly, book consultation with my team on the ground at the soonest so we can progress your application to the next stage of unconditional offer letter. If you have already received unconditional offer letter from CCCU, and right now the university issues offer letters pretty quickly, but as it comes closer to the start date, obviously it will get a little bit busier. So please apply in plenty of time so it gives you sufficient time to also proceed with your pre-CAS interview, submit your CAS request, and start your visa application. The university already issues CAS letters for September 2025 intake, so you have plenty of time to apply for a visa, and then you can arrive in the UK 1 month prior to the start date of the program, and maybe you can explore a little bit in summer, which is a great time to be in the UK. I was advised that we're going to be kicked out by Zoom in 5 minutes. So I literally have 5 minutes to take any questions. If there are any questions, please pop them into the Q&A section. Whilst we are looking into questions, just to remind as well that Canterbury Christchurch University hasn't increased their tuition fees this year, which is amazing. It's still 15,500 across the board for undergraduate, postgraduate, or even if you're starting with a foundation year as well. And the guaranteed international scholarship of £1,500 is still there. So it's only £14,000 for September 2025 intake, which is a great value. The accommodation is also still available on campus, and we do recommend to consider the on-campus option specifically, because Canterbury, first of all, is a very, very affordable city, as it was mentioned earlier. It's not far from London, so only within 50-55 minutes from London, but the accommodation cost is from £500 to £600, so it's much, much cheaper than London, and obviously it saves you also time and money on any additional commute, which is great. In the UK, you can still do part-time work, which is great. So you can either do something which is related to your studies, or you can do anything that you would obviously prefer to do as a part-time work for 20 hours a week during your studies and full-time during your holidays as well. And graduate route visa, which is a post-study work visa, is still available for 2 years once you have completed your either bachelor's degree or master's degree from a UK university, which is amazing. I'm just checking whether there are any questions. You literally have couple of minutes to share your questions so we can ask our academics to answer them. But I just wanted to double check. In terms of the work placements or internships, what are the opportunities there for both undergraduate and postgraduate students? Is there anything that they can potentially apply from the start? For example, sometimes bachelor's degrees incorporate an additional 1-year work placement. Would international students be able to apply for anything like that, or would it be more on a short-term internship or work placement basis?
Hi, Dagina. Who would you like to answer that question?
Well, you can start, please.
Okay, I'll start. So, yeah, just so students or applicants know, we have a new academic framework that comes into play, and that academic framework includes a module that is focused upon entrepreneurship and collaborating with industries. So our students will be working closely with a variety of different industries on projects, and part of that is also a entrepreneurial challenge, so they can develop businesses and things that way. So what has happened is the university has brought the internship support into the curriculum, and then it will be developed further between the years. So that's as much as I know, unless other colleagues are able to jump in and add to it. But essentially, the university is investing heavily upon the employment infrastructure within the curriculum across the entire offer of the courses across the university.
That's really good to know. Thank you so much, Alan. And just as a reminder, I believe in 2023, and Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, the university was ranked #1 in terms of the employability in the UK, which obviously shows that there is a great support provided to students in terms of obviously finding opportunities during studies, but also once you have graduated. So please ensure that you have registered with the career support services once you have enrolled. The university, they support you from the start, helping you with your CV, boosting your confidence for the interviews as well, and obviously providing you with a list of opportunities that they have. And as Alan highlighted recently as well, there are obviously new opportunities coming along as well. That's great. I guess I'm just double checking if there are any questions. We still have 2 minutes in case if there are any questions, please feel free to share. But if you maybe know off the top of your head, Alan, what's the international students numbers currently? I would imagine it will be different depending on the course, but maybe within games and design, what is the ratio international and local? Because I know Canterbury is obviously a great international city. There are 3 universities there, but within CCCU, there are also lots of students from the UK and from Europe, which is great. I think as an international student coming to the UK, it's a great experience to immerse yourself into British culture, to make some local friends as well, learn about the UK too. But in terms of the creative arts and industries, what is the ratio?
Yeah, I would say that the ratio is probably twice as many UK students to international students in terms of postgraduate offer. In undergraduate offer, I'd say actually we have relatively few international students. I'd say about 5 on most courses. And part of my role as director of the Canterbury Design Institute is to try and fix that, really. So we're really very welcoming to international students. They make our courses far better by bringing new perspectives and getting our home students to think about internationalization more. So we're very welcome, and the staff love having, and students love having, international students with them.
Absolutely, that's amazing. Thank you so much. And I know we've recently been discussing also projects where perhaps if you are one of our partners, or maybe you are representing a university in your home country, if there is a need to deliver some sort of masterclass or maybe an additional webinar to tell students a little bit more about CCCU School of Creative Arts and Industries, I think the academics are also open to this kind of opportunities
we'd
as
like
well.
collaboration. So I think staff would like it, students would like it. So yeah, very, very much open to that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. All right. Well, if there are no further questions, or if there are any questions that maybe come to your mind, please feel free to share with our team on the ground, and we will be happy to connect with academics at CCCU for you and provide further information. Thank you once again to all the academics. Really, really enjoyed our webinar as always. Richard, we should have more webinars on the School of Creative Arts, please. And thank you to all the attendees. Please stay tuned. We have webinars for CCCU pretty much every week, so we'll keep you posted on the next webinar. If you are our partner, please submit your students' applications at the soonest, arrange outstanding documents, consultations, pre-course interviews, and whatever else is needed to progress your students' cases to the next stage. If you are a student coming to study at CCCU in September, we look forward to welcoming you very, very soon. Thank you all and have a great day. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.